Hey guys, MeLikeBigBoom here, and today we have gotten another update / progress report regarding the Hawaii map. Exciting stuff. This is the third post so far regarding the Hawaii map, and things are really coming along. This is super exciting. In today's post, we actually get to check out some new locations, some changes to the cruise liner based off of your guys' suggestions, as well as another new vehicle made by Rain. And without further ado, let's just get right into the post. Now, to start, Gamez talks about how all of this work is still very early and is likely to be altered, so things might not be exactly how they are as pictured. He also says that the map progress is going very well and the map will actually be ready for testing within the next month. This is really exciting. I'm not entirely sure if this means February as in next month or within the next 30 days, but we'll have to wait and see. One important thing to remember is that he is talking about the testing that will be ready within the next month, not the entire map, so don't get too bummed out if it's not fully released by then. Now, my assumption is that they will kind of release the map under some sort of preview branch to allow people to kind of tear the map apart, finding bugs, and then they will fix all those bugs and then release the map in the public branch soon after, within a week or two. It's also worth mentioning that this is just a general timeline and shouldn't be set in stone. I mean, they may require more time to ensure everything is kind of spick and span before release. Now, with that little disclaimer thing out of the way, let's get into arguably the most interesting part, the pictures. To start, right at the top of the post, Gamez posted a picture of some sort of cove with the picture aimed directly at the water, so you can see that it's showing an awesome shipwreck. This is a prime example of the focus on underwater exploration in locations within Hawaii. You can expect a lot more locations like these to be found around underwater, and they actually do have another picture that I'll show later of this. Now, originally when looking at this picture, I thought those buildings up at the top were tiny little shacks for some reason, but they're actually relatively large beach buildings, and the ship that you can see underwater is actually the same ship that you can find at the shipyard in Russia or in Alberton. I mean, that is huge. And also those boulders are the same things that you see all over Russia, those huge things. So that means this underwater hole is huge, so you're definitely going to need a diving tank and a snorkel to efficiently loop the shipwreck. That's going to be awesome. Hopefully you can find some ranger spawns like Zubaknikovs and ranger ammo in that underwater location to make it worth it. Now, the next picture is of the cruise liner again. If you remember last time, the cruise liner had a squared off rear end with solid panes of glass lining the perimeter, and Spyjack actually took some of your guys' advice by making the back end a little more detailed. In doing so, he rounded the corners a bit by kind of shaving off a little corner and then added a frame to the glass to spice it up a bit. I think it looks fantastic. If you guys have any further suggestions, be sure to comment them down below. I mean, I guess maybe to make it a little longer, but that seems like a lot of work. I think, honestly, right now, it's looking great. It looks awesome. Next up is a completely unique location, one that I'm quite excited for. It is an observatory. This is awesome. It's actually taken from the inside of the dome, looking at the telescope, and it just looks really, really cool. It's way high up in the mountains, as you can tell from the water level way down there, and obviously there's a massive telescope right in the middle, pointed right at the sky to observe the stars. Now, I'm assuming this place is unfinished, and I think it would actually look fantastic with control panels lining the perimeter and some chairs scattered about like what you see in Silo 22 on Russia. That would look pretty cool. Now, outside you can see some more buildings that are brown in color, and if you zoom in, they look pretty regular, I guess. I mean, they might be some homes or something, or perhaps a part of this science facility, but I'm not entirely sure. Regardless, this is looking pretty great. Oh, well, you know what? This second picture might have actually answered that question previously. This next picture is of a factory with cool smokestacks and flowery plants scattered about the field next to it, though the building up front here actually appears to be the same building that was shown from the observatory. So if you zoom in on the observatory here, just kind of get an idea of that balcony in the door down at the bottom, and then swapping over to this picture of the factory, I'm pretty sure that's the same thing. So if that is the case, then that means that the observatory is actually positioned up the hill or up the mountain to the left of this photo. Regarding the factory itself, I'm not sure what it creates specifically, but since it has these really beefy military walls, I can assume that it's related to weaponry. Perhaps it's a tank factory like Zavad on Russia, but I'm not entirely sure. Maybe it's something completely new, but military or not, I think you'll be able to find various industrial loot here, so we can guarantee at least that being there. Now, the next photo is a new angle of the beach shot that we saw in the first Hawaii post, actually the first picture of the first Hawaii post. This time it's up close on the beach where we can see a lot more details inside all of these buildings. Now, the previous photo was actually taken on the other side of that dock, further away from the shore, but still facing the town. And this photo is showing the lifeguard building, and we can see some new objects here. To start, down in the bottom left, we have some cool surfboards here. Underneath the building, we can see some fishing net kind of hanging there. An anchor also hanging to the left of the building. A bunch of life buoy things. These are all kind of new objects here. And then also behind this little life building thing, we can see that the bluish greenish house that's to the right, the cafe, isn't actually a house as we thought originally, but a gift shop. So pretty cool. Now, the next photo is our first sort of glimpse at a residential location with a street curving around a new-looking restaurant to the left. The restaurant has a canopy over the whole thing for shade, and there are some colorful outdoor seats and tables for eating. I mean, it's relatively basic. It's a restaurant. I guess you go there to find some food spawns, but there's also a house across the street, 2 stories and actually pretty small looking, also has a canopy thing for shade. It is a residential town. You're not going to have some crazy locations here. Behind the restaurant there is what appears to be a gas station or a mechanic shop. Regardless, I'm sure you'll be able to find fuel there, so this could be a nice refueling location depending on where it is positioned. Also very, very difficult to see, but on the left side you'll see that there is a dirt road leading into the garage of what appears to be a hardware store. Also, PS, games too much, the guardrails are actually facing in the wrong direction. At least I think it's a hardware store. It could be a gun store. There are only 2 buildings with that color, and judging by how there's a road there, I'm pretty sure this is just leading into a hardware store. So you could find some pretty cool stuff in there as well. Anyway, the next photo, even more photos, man, we got tons of these, I'm telling you. This one is the outside of the ship repair bay that we got to see the inside of earlier. I think that was last week or maybe the week before, but this place is huge. Like really, really big. I mean, I guess it is kind of expected, it being a ship repair bay, but not only is the building itself big, but this entire complex goes on to have cranes for loading containers onto cargo ships and military barracks behind the repair bay. Also, a cool little tidbit of information, if you zoom in on those military barracks, you'll see that they are tan colored, meaning that the military uniform of choice for Hawaii will actually be the desert uniform. I'm pretty happy about this. We've had, I think, 2 foresty, olivey colored uniforms in the past maps, and now we will have 2 desert ones as well, so kind of evening it out. Also, I believe this building to the left is a desert version of the large barracks that we saw in the Volk military base of Russia, but I could be wrong. It might be an aircraft hangar, or maybe not, because this airplane's here, this is a side thing. Maybe it is a barracks, I'm not entirely sure, but it appears to be a desert version of the large barracks, which is a new building. Also, way up on the mountain there, you can see the top of the smokestacks from the factory we saw earlier as well, or at least I think it is. And if that's true, that means the observatory should be somewhere around here, kind of outside of render distance on the top of that mountain there. Anyway, lastly, there is a tiny island to the right, but it is too far away to kind of see anything on it. But overall, pretty cool. Now that does pretty much wrap up the photos in this post, but there's still that vehicle that Rain has been working on, and he has a cool video to show it, just like last time. Now last time, we got to see a hovercraft in action by the Coast Guards. You can see it with its awesome spotlight thing. Anyway, pretty cool. This time, we have a new vehicle. The photo is actually called Another Boat lol.gif, which this is actually, I think, the first new boat that we've seen of Hawaii. I mean, we've seen a Coast Guard helicopter, and we've seen a Coast Guard hovercraft, and I think that's it. So then that means that there's another boat to come as well as this. So if this is true, we're gonna have a lot of boats. This is gonna be pretty cool. So this is just one titled Another Boat lol. Now originally when looking at this video and the boat's color scheme, I thought it was a speedboat in those huge metal tubes were the exhaust pipes, but if you look closer, you'll see that there is a seat between the two exhaust pipes, which means that this boat isn't actually a speedboat, and those aren't exhaust pipes, those are guns. Those are guns, everybody. Those are cannons, probably, considering how huge they are, and this is insane. I mean, what is this? Perhaps it's a coalition vehicle because the Coast Guard doesn't need a cannon boat. They rescue people, they don't shoot them. And also, it's not military because it's not like green or desert. So I think it's a coalition thing, but it's got like dual cannons on there. That is crazy. What are your guys' thoughts on this? I think it's pretty cool. I'm assuming this will take HMG ammo, the heavy machine gun stuff, the same as what is in the Hind gunship. So don't expect this to be like a massive OP killing machine, but it will be destructive once armed. The Hind gunship does have explosive rounds, and if this uses the same ammo, that means it'll be explosive rounds. But look at this. This is like something out of Just Cause 3. This is crazy. Also, this video was taken in Russia, as you can tell, so we don't learn anything about the Hawaii map here. Just the vehicle here. A dual cannon speedboat, motorboat thing. That's crazy. Now, normally this is where the video would end, but wait. There's more. Call now and receive 2 more images, free of charge. Just pay shipping and handling. No, I'm just kidding. Or at least about the calling part, at least. But in regards to the 2 free pictures, Games Too Much was actually kind enough to go out of his way to randomly supply 2 exclusive screenshots of the Hawaii map that are only available here on the MeLikeBigBoom channel. He just gave me them. They can't be seen on the progress report or anywhere else. He just gave me these 2 exclusive screenshots. Pretty exciting if I do say so myself. I'd like to give a massive thank you to you, Games, because I know you're watching, for providing these cool screenshots to my viewers and I. These are really, really awesome. Now, the first picture is of another underwater location. See, I told you we weren't done with underwater exploration earlier. This is an interesting one, seemingly way underwater, showcasing some sort of underwater facility, and a big one too. It reminds me of some sort of space station thing, but underwater, and it has like individual chambers to prevent water from getting inside, which, I mean, obviously didn't work too well, but yeah, anyway, that's really about it. It does seem to go on further than it does here, but regardless, this would be a nice location to find Scorpion 7 style loot without having to worry too much about coming across players. So we'll have to find this once Hawaii is released, as well as just any kind of underwater location. It's going to be so much fun just exploring all the secrets of Hawaii once it's released. Now, the next and final photo is a perfect one to wrap up the video with, and that is a huge picture of the entirety of Hawaii. All of it. Holy smokes, this is really, really cool. You can see the cruise liner here far away from the island, really far away from the island, and just look at how massive this map is. This is the first glimpse of the entirety of Hawaii, only available here on the MeLikeBigBoom channel, allowing you to truly grasp how large this map is. The entire map, right here. You're looking at it, honey buns. You can see how tall these mountains, or perhaps volcanoes I should say, are, which is really something new to the official Unturned maps. We really haven't seen much verticality in the maps of Unturned, so this will really bring something new to the table, as well as all the underwater exploration stuff. So lots of new stuff coming to the table here with the Hawaii map. Now, what's interesting here is that, judging by the landscapes of the photos we've seen so far in today's post, it seems like the observatory is somewhere up in the mountain or volcano here, which places the factory down here somewhere, assuming we were correct in assuming the factory's location through the hole in the observatory photo. And then also in the town photo, we were able to see the smokestacks from the factory, which means that the town is probably down on the shore on the left side of the map here. So really, those 3 photos were there on the left. And also this area here also looks like the same place of that cove picture, the first picture. So really, all we've seen of the map so far is just this section here. That's it. That's like a fifth of the map. That's it. There's all this other stuff here that could be jungle, could be just a bunch of fields, could be a bunch of towns. I don't know, but there's a lot more to this map than what we've seen so far. I'm really excited for this. Are you guys as well? Remember, if you guys have any kinds of tips or suggestions regarding this Hawaii map, be sure to drop them down below in the comment section. Criticism or support, it's all welcome. Once again, I'd like to give a massive thank you to Gamez Too Much for providing these awesome pictures, especially this grand shot of the island. Super cool stuff. That does pretty much wrap up everything regarding the new map in this week's update post. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure to rate, comment, subscribe, and do all that gibberish because me like Big Boom. Peace out.